Yes guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel, and it's finally here. EAFC 26 is here, is playable, and we are starting off with a first career mode of the new game, and you will see in a second we are starting this career mode off with West Ham United of the English Premier League. Won the Europa Conference League a couple of seasons ago, but before that had a bit of an up and down time before that. Obviously historically a really big club, absolutely massive club, massive fan base and massive history, but been up and down between the Championship and the Premier League, established themselves in the Premier League, and then, as I say, won that Europa Conference League. But as of this season haven't got off to the best start with Graham Potter at the helm, and to be fair, ever since they got rid of David Moyes they haven't really done too much, and we needed someone to come in to take over this team and really get them back to where they should be and get them back into European competitions and winning trophies where they should be. So that is why they have appointed myself to do that job for them, and hopefully we can do the team justice and get them into those European spots and hopefully win some trophies along the way as well, whether it's domestically or whether it's in Europe. Hopefully we can put a good name on this West Ham team. But as we just go into the team and have a look at the squad that we do start off with, we have disabled the first transfer window for this first season, and then obviously we'll be able to sign players from January onwards. But just whilst we look into the team and the starting team in just a second, just an introduction to myself. My name's Rusty. I did actually recently sort of start career modes on this YouTube channel. I started one just towards the end of FC 25 with Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship in England, and if you want to go back and obviously watch that one, feel free. Hopefully I've done enough there to obviously build on it and make this series the best it can be going into EAFC 26. But as always, obviously always open to comments. Please put any suggestions in the comments below, whether it's in terms of the actual save, whether it's in terms of the actual gameplay, anything like that, or whether it's in terms of videos and YouTube side of things. Please drop any comments, because obviously we're all looking to learn here, so any information would be absolutely brilliant. And obviously I will ask, obviously, if you do want to follow the journey, follow future videos on here. We will be obviously a career mode focused channel. We might branch into a few other things here or there, but mainly a career mode focused channel. So please do subscribe to the channel to follow the journey, and obviously hit this like button if you want to see this series carry on, if you want to see us carry on this and hopefully show some good support for this first episode of the new season. But as I say, we are starting off with West Ham, a team, some decent players in there, to be fair. They've got some really good players in terms of Jared Bowen, in terms of Lucas Paquetá. They've got James Ward-Prowse in midfield, Areola in goal, but they have definitely got some weaknesses, most notably probably the defence. We've currently got Max Kilman in there, we've got Todibo in there, we've got Igor in there as well, who's obviously on loan from Brighton. So some decent players, but definitely room for improvement. And then there are some aging players in there. Areola's not the youngest player in the world anymore. We've got players like Thomas Souček up front. We've obviously got Nicholas Füllkrug, but we've also got Callum Wilson in there now, obviously recently joined West Ham as well. So definitely some improvements we can make. As I say, we have disabled the first transfer window, so it will all come about in January. But hopefully we can, as I say, do this club justice and make the team into a place where we can challenge trophies. But one thing I just want to ask first of all, is this right for just objectives? I've only got 2 objectives this season: reach round of 16 in the FA Cup and finish mid-table in the Premier League. So let me know if that is the only, because obviously that's quite different from last year. And the other thing was this recovery. I tried to actually change recovery, because I don't think this was on FC 25, the recovery section. Over intense, heavy and light was, but I couldn't get this higher than light was. So if anyone knows what to put generally for those sort of filters in there, then please once again comment down below and let me know, because obviously it's a new game for everyone, we're all learning together, and obviously there are going to be some new things on this. We've got things like the manager area in there as well. We've got the deep dive into different leagues as well, which should be interesting to see that as well. So obviously we'll learn all this together along the journey. Obviously I'll watch other creators as well, so we'll see what they see, and we'll obviously do what we think is best for this save. But we do jump into the first game of the pre-season tournament. As with all pre-season tournaments, we do just simulate the games, and we did get a 2-1 victory in our first one against Monza. Goals from Matheus Fernandes and Callum Wilson, both new signings for West Ham this season. Obviously Callum Wilson came over on a free, and Matheus Fernandes joined from Southampton. Then we did get a second win against Levante, and this time it was Nicholas Füllkrug who got the goal for us to give us that 1-0 victory. And then we did, as you saw in the team at the start, we are starting Jared Bowen up front alongside Nicholas Füllkrug, so we wanted to change his main position to a striker, which we did complete, and put him on a poacher training plan. But we got our first youth scout report. Obviously we'll be using youth players throughout this, and I don't know if I'm a fan of how this is now, just for looks, obviously going into these little screens to either accept or reject the player. I'm not a massive fan of that. Maybe that will change over time, but once again, Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Obviously, the main menus and the main general play of this career mode is the same as FC25 with a few tweaks here or there, and this is obviously one of the little tweaks which, like I say, I'm not the biggest fan of at the minute. But obviously, player messages are still coming through, and we do get a weird one from Jared Bowen, obviously saying that he's not happy that we're not competing in the transfer market. I'm not being funny, Jared. We've disabled first transfer window. You should know that as a captain of a club, so you should know we're not getting any players through, but hopefully that won't come back to bite me. But we do finish the pre-season tournament with a 2-0 win against FC St Pauli, and that did actually, you will see the message in a second, we did actually end up winning the pre-season tournament, which gave us just over 2 million into our transfer budget, which we'll definitely be able to use and looking to use in January, and obviously the future transfer windows going forward as well. So there is confirmation of that 2.65 million coming in, and just congratulations from the West Ham board for winning that tournament. So we obviously got off to a really good start with this save. Obviously nothing doing me, we simmed the games, the team's already there, we haven't made any changes to it, but obviously it's a good start. And then once again, Jared Bowen comes back to us saying about bringing new faces in, and once again I say to him, I've got a lot to think about, i.e. we can't bring anyone in a minute until January, so hopefully, like I say, it won't come back to bite us too much. And obviously I have heard about these sort of unexpected announcements from players which can come into career mode now, in terms of players who are homesick or want to move away, or just they can even just randomly retire if they get an injury or something like that. So we'll obviously keep an eye out for that. We're not going to get any of those just yet, but obviously we'll keep an eye out for those throughout the save. And like I say, we'll keep an eye out for any new little things throughout the save which is slightly different to FC25, or at least that I've noticed are different. They might have already been on FC25 and it might just be me not being too observant in that game, but we'll have a look, and obviously we will see how this game does perform. But we jump in to the first league game of the season, and it is of course away from home against Sunderland, who have actually strengthened their team really well. They've got some really good players in, and a lot of those are the main players for them. You'll see here Adingra, Diarra, Granit Xhaka. They've got Brian Broby up front as well, and it was one of their new signings, Granit Xhaka, who got the first chance for the game with that left foot of his, but fortunately for us he rattled it against the crossbar, and the scores did stay at 0-0. Then we did get a chance about 20 minutes into the game, Nicholas Fulkrug on that left foot of his, but unfortunately saved by the Sunderland goalkeeper. And then just about 5 minutes later, a goal kick for us. Areola launched it long. Fulkrug, we know he's really good in the air, he gets a flick onto Bowen. Bowen plays it over to Matheus Fernandes. Matheus Fernandes plays it back across to Fulkrug, and a really good whip finish, to be fair, with that right foot of his, straight past the goalkeeper in the Sunderland net, and we get our first goal of the season, of the save, and it is that man, Nicholas Fulkrug, who he was ruptured by injuries, to be fair, in his first season for West Ham in real life, so hopefully this season can be the one where he really kicks on and really shows what he can do. But it was Sunderland who started coming back. It was Brian Broby once again who got the shot away there. Good save from Areola, and then the defender sort of just bundled into it, hit the post, and luckily went out for a corner. Then from the resulting corner, Granit Xhaka plays it, and it finds its way to Gertrude here. Gertrude looks to play it back to Diarra, one of their new boys, back to Granit Xhaka. So you can see how many new players they've got in there, to be fair. Into Talby. Talby uses strength, gets it to Brian Broby, and another decent shot from Brian Broby, but saved once again by Areola, and that is how the first half finished. So we did go into half-time with a 1-0 lead, but Sunderland was still going to keep pushing. Diarra through, plays into Granit Xhaka once again with another decent shot of that left foot of his, but saved once again by Areola. And to be fair, Areola was looking really good in this game. He was making some really good saves and keeping the ball out back of the net, but unfortunately it didn't last forever, and it was that new signing, Diarra, there. He just peeled off the back of his defender to get the volley in and just put it past Areola to give Sunderland the 1-1 draw at this stage. And again, another thing I've noticed, I don't know if this is a glitch and it might be fixed going forward, but when the opposition score, they don't seem to celebrate for a good 5 seconds or so after they've actually scored the goal. They sort of just run around for a little bit and then they celebrate after that. So that is going to be a bit jarring if that isn't fixed. But once again, let me know if that's just something I'm noticing on mine, or whether that is something that's happening in everyone's. But back into this game, and unfortunately 7 minutes before the end of the game, Sunderland did take the lead for the first time of the game, and it's another one of their new signings, ex-Aston Villa man Bertrand Traore. The ball fell to him in space about 3 yards out from the goal, and he just had the easy tap in to put that ball in the back of the net to give Sunderland the 2-1 lead at this stage, and that is how the scores finished. So we did unfortunately lose the first game of the season, 2-1 against Sunderland, but we had our first home game of the season here against Chelsea, starting the same team, obviously no fitness or injury concerns at this stage, but we knew obviously against Chelsea it was going to be a really difficult game. But hopefully, with it being our first home game of the season, the crowd could get behind us and we could hopefully pull off some sort of upset, or potentially just come away with a point and obviously get that first point on the board to kickstart our season after that loss against Sunderland. And what I will say, to be fair, from that Sunderland game and also from these future games that obviously you'll see in here, I do really like the gameplay. I don't know whether it's just a sort of Mandela effect that I'm noticing just because it's a new game, but I do really like the gameplay. It does seem a lot more realistic here, despite obviously losing the game. It does feel a lot more realistic, and I am really pleased. I am currently playing on competitive rather than authentic, which I know obviously people want to try out authentic, but competitive was saying it was a bit more fast paced rather than the slower authentic, so I thought that would suit me a little bit better and suit what I would enjoy a little bit better, which is why I'm doing it. But once again, if you've got any ideas or if you've played an authentic and think it's better to play on that, again, drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you think of that. And obviously I can always give it a go in a few games and see which one I do prefer. But going back into this game against Chelsea, obviously at home, we did unfortunately go 1-0 down fairly early on. The ball fell through to Cole Palmer, and of course Cole Palmer wasn't going to miss from where he was. Just put it down low past Areola to give Chelsea that 1-0 lead. And then, as expected, to be fair, Chelsea were a team that really pushing to get that second goal of the game. It wasn't really us looking to get the equaliser. It was Chelsea who were looking to get the second, and it fell to Fernandes here. Plays it back to Levi Colwill. Colwill looks to get down that left hand side. He flicks one in. It falls back to Enzo Fernandez once again. He plays it into Pedro Neto. Neto plays it into João Pedro. And from close range, Areola couldn't get there. And João Pedro did manage to double Chelsea's lead and give them the 2-0 lead in this game after just 15 minutes. So a real mountain to climb in this game. Chelsea obviously had some quality players in there. They're definitely the better team on paper. And that showed, obviously, being 2-0 down inside that 15 minutes. But we did get a chance just 5 minutes after that. Jarrod Bowen with a good chance with that left foot of his, but a good save from Robert Sanchez to tip the ball wide of the post. And then from the resulting corner, the set piece master James Ward-Prowse plays one in, and it's Max Kilman who goes up for it. Couldn't quite get it. El Hadj Malik Diouf gets the second header, but unfortunately couldn't get it past Robert Sanchez, and the scores did stay at 2-0. And then just before half time, Pedro Neto gets down the right hand side, plays in João Pedro, decent header, didn't have much power on it, and Areola stuck a leg out, and the ball did ricochet off of Areola and go out for another corner once again for Chelsea, which Cole Palmer played in. We look to get the defensive header there. The ball finds itself to Pedro Neto on the edge of the box. He plays it into Reece James. Reece James gets some good shot in, but unfortunately for him, Areola was there once again. And to be fair, Areola, although we've conceded 2 goals in the Sunderland game and 2 goals so far in this Chelsea game, Areola is looking really good, to be fair. And he catches that cross really well and looks to play the throw out. But unfortunately, as good as Areola has been with his saves, a really poor throw out straight to the attacker. The ball eventually finds its way to João Pedro, and João Pedro manages to slide that one into the back of the net just before half time to get his second of the game and Chelsea's third of the game. And we knew that in this second half we were going to have even more of mountains climbing we had before, and being 3-0 down despite being at home. And obviously the fans probably weren't behind us at this stage, but we did get another chance. El Hadj Malik Diouf plays that ball in, really good defence splitting pass to be fair into Jarrod Bowen, and Jarrod Bowen had the easy task of just steering that one underneath the goalkeeper to bring the scores back to 3-1. So we did obviously sort of shorten the deficit a little bit with that one goal, but once again obviously we were 3-1 down against a better team in Chelsea, so we knew it was going to be really difficult. And then an hour into the game, the ball finds itself to João Pedro from that cross by Esteval. Really good turn, to be fair, and that's what I mean. Those sort of realisms look really good on this game, and the actual just general graphics and the look of the game, even the menus, to be fair, they just look, although they're the same, they just look smoother and they look a lot better, I think. And as I say, it might be a bit of a Mandela effect from it being a new game and me just thinking these things, but I do generally think the gameplay, the graphics and just the general menus do look a lot better, which EAFC have obviously put some time into doing. But obviously ours carries on the same. We conceded another goal once again from Cole Palmer, his second of the game as well, so he's got 2, João Pedro's got 2, and we are currently 4-1 down against this Chelsea side. And that is how the game ended. And yeah, a 4-1 loss after that 2-1 loss against Sunderland. We were probably performing as well as West Ham were performing at this stage in real life, to be fair, and it wasn't good. And a cut screen, again, is this new? I haven't noticed it in FC25, but a little cut scene there into a pub in London to celebrate that Chelsea win. And unfortunately, obviously it was 2 games and 2 losses for us. And we did get a couple of messages from Guido Rodriguez and Andy Irving, both saying obviously I want to talk about their contracts. But obviously we're not looking to renew any contracts. We need to get to know the team first and see how everyone performs. But that is going to bring the first episode to an end. As I said at the start, drop any comments or suggestions down in the comments below. Please like the video and please subscribe to follow this journey. The next episode will be up on Monday, so keep a lookout for that. Hope you've enjoyed the first episode. Take care of yourselves, have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.